So the question is, did anybody see Shuichi speaking with a young woman on the day of his disappearance? See what I said about people's biases? That goes for witnesses too. And I figured that maybe if I started asking new questions, I might get some new answers. So I spent my days asking around Shuichi's school route, seeing if anyone had seen something. And one man thought he had. Do you mean he saw it happen? Well, I can't say that for sure yet. It turned out he wanted something from me, so he asked if we could talk in private. Several hours earlier. Alright, this should do. There's no one around. We can speak in confidence. Excuse me, what was your name again? Chunochi. Got it. Well, Chunochi, I'm all ears. Just so we're on the same page. You're a private detective investigating Shigima's kidnapping. Do I have that right? Of course. What else do I look like? How should I know what a private detective looks like? Oh, forget it. Look, I'll tell you straight. My life is in danger. I need your help. You'll excuse me if that caught me a little off guard. Let me ask you straight. Who is trying to kill you? A student called Michio Shiraishi. Interesting. A schoolgirl, huh? Sounds like you've been naughty. It's nothing like that. That girl, she's a murderer. I'm the only one who knows, but I saw what she did. Michio Shiaishi, I saw her kidnap Chuichi Shigima. Oops. Come again? I saw her talk to him on the street and led him away. I didn't think much of it at the time, but then he went missing. She murdered him, I'm sure of it. Or at least, she's got something to do with it. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Then you can't let her get me. Hell, then you can't let her get to me. If that's true, you've been sitting on some valuable information. Why didn't you tell anybody? Well, you see, if you can't explain that, I don't have any. So, if you can't explain that, I don't have any reason to believe you. I couldn't. She told me she'd kill me if I spoke a word. You're telling me a schoolgirl had you scared for your life? So you've been sitting on that all this time, and you think she's coming for you now that you've spilled the beans? Yes, that's it, exactly. I'm begging you, don't let her get me. Arrest her. I'm telling you, she's a demon. Well, you seem to believe what you're saying, but it just doesn't add up. How could a schoolgirl have a fully grown man so terrified? You don't know what she can do. She'll curse me. Curse you? I'm sorry, but you're losing me here. It's true. Her house, it's... Oh, forget it. Why do I even bother? You seem dubious enough to believe me, but I should have known you'd never understand. Enough. I find someone else to help me. Hey. Hm. Ist das eine Mädel gewesen? And that's about the long and short of it. I I can hardly believe it. At the time, I thought his mention of cursed was just crazy talk, but I'm starting to see that there might have been more to it. Then, if we can just find that girl, curse or no curse, if she was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping, then there's a good chance to knows she knows something. On top of that, I did some digging on the man I spoke to. His full name's Kohei Junuchi. He's a teacher at Komagata High School here in Sumida. A teacher? Then this schoolgirl is one of his students. I think that's very likely. last, we've got a lead. Hopefully, it be breakthrough we're looking for. As for what we do next, first of all, I think you should stay indoors. Try not to do anything spontaneous or outside of your normal routine. Right then. Have you decided what you want me working on? What we want to do, what we want to do, what we want to do, what we want to do. Finally, finally, I have a lead. I need to know what happened to my son. Your wish is my command, ma'am. I focus all my efforts on looking into the kidnapping, although something was occurred to me. You can't investigate the matter at night, can you? At least until the sun rises, could you search for the other cursed barriers? All right, I see how it is. Well, I'd be happy to help. Odds or good that the other cursed barriers are also working by night. Anyone they kill under the cover of darkness won't be discovered until sunrise. I bet they'll be trying to do as much as they can before morning comes. So it's settled, then. I look into the other cursed barriers by night, and once the city wakes up and I can start asking questions, I'll investigate the kidnapping as well. I'll even try and find Mrs. Shiraishi as part of the bargain. Thank you. That's more than enough. Can I think? I think the same. Okay. Ja. 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 Um, can't do anything. I want to do anything. Want to do anything. I want to do anything. Ich kann nicht thinken, ich kann nicht talken. Ja. Okay. Ähm. Okay, ich weiß nicht, wie ich da weiterkomme. Ein anderes Handy ist noch mal die Ladestationen. Laden wir gleich mal das andere. Da ist nämlich auch der Akku leer. Aber ich will jetzt erstmal gucken, wie komme ich da weiter? Also da weiß ich echt nicht. Ich habe ja alles so geguckt, was ich anklicken kann. Ähm, das ist die Seite, wo ich war? Nö. Oder ist die Seite, wo ich war? Ja, die sieht gut aus. Ähm, not dreams. Look at choice do not matter and the conversation will not alter the story. Examine everything in the room, including the rooster mathematica on the wall to the left, the rotary phone and the rotary phone and the fax machine. Rotary phone. Ah, kann das extra machen. Okay, I'm sorry. The telephone. This mansion has a private line. Ja, okay, das habe ich gemacht. Examine the newspaper on the floor and read the society article. There's something on the floor. There's nothing on the floor. Ja. Now then. Aha, jetzt geht's. Okay, das ist auch ein neues Kapitel. I should get to work. There's only so much time before sunrise. I call you if I find out anything new. You stay here and keep a lookout. All right. There's no telling what kinds of curse you might find out on the streets tonight. Don't go outside if you can help it, and try to be ready for anything. I will. Well, if that's all, I should be going. Ah. Machen wir noch eins? Eins machen wir noch. Nice thought. Harue Shigima. Summary previous events. Despite having abstained the curse of the haunting clappers, Harue Shigima is determined to use the rite of resurrection by stealing the remaining curse stones. She instructs her private investigator Richard to find the other cursed periods. Das machen wir jetzt noch und dann reicht das auch, glaube ich, für heute, weil ich glaube, das ist noch ein paar Stunden lang. Ich weiß auch nicht, wie heute. It's been almost an hour since Risha left. He promised he'd call me if anything happened. But he hasn't. So all I can do is wait and wait. Wait for that. I'm not the mood for music anyway. Ich dachte, da kommt dasselbe noch. There's nothing on at this hour. I see no point in turning it on. It's a fax machine. I really find everything once. Waiting for Richard to contact me, but he hasn't. What's this? A newspaper? I must have fallen off the chair. Read it. I only leave them in here for the guests. I hardly ever read them myself. I don't think I've taken the time to go over one in years, in fact. Well, it's not like I have anything better to do. Looks like the city's biggest problem right now is population. I remember how the air and water used to be even more polluted. The river was covered in scum from all the sewage and industrial waste, and it stank so badly it made my eyes water. Eventually people started getting sick and it couldn't be ignored anymore. Fortunately, it's getting better since then. Although the air around the industrial district is still filthy with gas and smoke. If there's one thing Honshu never wants for, it's horrific crimes. They found a police officer dead in a local park just the other day. A lot of my family are in the police. I hope it wasn't anybody I knew. I don't read the news anymore, but not since last year. It brings back bad memories. A suicide at local high school? Oh, I remember that. A high school girl jumped off a roof about a week ago. She was bullied, I think, or maybe it was something about exam pressure. What? But no, this can't be right. Her name, Michio Shiraishi from Komagata High School? It can't be. Native Forester contacted me, but he hasn't. I made sure the receiver is on the hook. It'll ring as soon as he calls. Ah! That must be him. Hello? Shigima residence? Harue Shigima, 2 a.m. Komagata Bridge. Richter called me out to meet him, and we came here to Komagata Bridge. Richter, there's something I need to tell you. Funny, I was just thinking the same thing. We're on Komagata Bridge over the Sumida River. There's a highway on one side and a freeway on the other, but they're both deserted this late at night. The Sumida River. The water is filthy and horrid, but at night, when it's still, it looks almost peaceful. Can I ask you something, ma'am? Is the Sumida River what you Honjo folks picture when you think of home? I couldn't say. All I can tell you is that I can hardly stand the sight of it. Right. Good we guessed. This was where they found him after he went missing, all alone floating in that horrible water. All I can think is how scared he must have been, how cold he must have been. What did he ever do to deserve something so awful? I've come here every day since then, and I prayed to the river to give him back, to give me back my son, day after day after day. You know, in olden times people believed the rivers marked where our world met the next. So the fact of crossing flowing water had a huge amount of spiritual significance. Back when Edo was founded, the people of Chu saw the Sumida River the same way. They associated the far side of the river with the other life. That same place would later become Honjo. All their fear and revulsion accumulated there and took root. But then the Ryogoku Bridge sprang up after the Great Fire of Maireki, and just like that, Honjo was part of the city too. And as it turned from farmland